and welcome to the 2022 Southern Christian Leadership Conference of Southern California, Gala. This year, our wonderful host is Niele Anderson. Niele Anderson is a communications political strategist from Los Angeles, California. She attended the illustrious Grambling State University majoring in mass communications. She began her political career in 2004 as a volunteer with Rock the Vote, quickly rising to national field manager. She next joined the Radio 1 Los Angeles family as the gospel community host of a very popular Sunday morning radio show. During her time with Radio 1, she joined the Los Angeles Sentinel newspaper owned by the Bakewell Media in 2006 and has worked with the organization as a consultant ever since. Currently, Niele is a co-anchor and a senior producer for Fox Soul's Black Report, which provides Black news, views, and opinions. She has also produced Fox Soul specials for COVID-19, 2020 VP presidential debate, the 2021 U.S. presidential inauguration, President Biden's 2021 joint address to Congress, and a social justice town hall for the platform. Put your virtual hands together for Niele Anderson.
Wow, thank you so much for that introduction. I can't believe that that's me, but it is definitely inspired by the legacy and history of the civil rights movement. So I want to take this time to thank the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, affectionately known as the SCLC, for having me tonight to celebrate some heroes and sheroes from our community. The SCLC, as we know, is a legacy organization that was co-founded by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who led us into so many liberties that Black people in the United States have today, from civil rights to voting rights, which is something that we are fighting for still today. That's why this gala is so important to our community and to our nation, so that we can remember the fight that so many civil leaders led by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King have overcome. In the words of We Shall Overcome. And hopefully it will inspire us to continue the movement and make sure that we get the voting rights that we need today. So as we celebrate, as we reflect, let's take a look at the legacy of the SCLC. Music has always been a part of the civil rights movement. Motown played an extreme important part, from Marvin Gaye, What's Going On and What's Happening, Brother, to Stevie Wonder. We can't forget about Aretha Franklin. And how about James Brown? Say it loud, I'm Black and I'm proud. We have always contributed from whatever arena that we're in to keep the movement going. We can't forget about the gospel greats like We've Come This Far by Faith. And what about when Mahalia Jackson sang Precious Lord? Music and the movement has always inspired us to keep going and for us to lift our voices like the National Negro Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. So in this moment in time, as we reflect, let's hear from one of our greats that helped pave the way to get us this far.
I can say concerning this great gospel singer in our midst, our dear friend, my great friend Mahalia Jackson, that a voice like this comes only once in a millennium.
So we had music, but arts and culture also played a part in the movement, the civil rights movement. This next performance is very dear to my heart. Her name is Dr. Kimberly Paget, but we knew her affectionately as Bolanile. I actually started my praise dance in my relationship with God with Bolanile. And though she's gone, her spirit still lives and it still inspires us to keep moving and to keep pressing on. So this next performance, as we continue to reflect on how we're going to take all of this energy to move forward for the liberation of Black people, let's celebrate Bolanile. The prayers of the righteous availeth much. That's what the Bible says. And through the struggles of our overcoming from slavery to civil rights to today, prayer has been such a sustaining principle within the Black community. And so we cannot move any further without a word of prayer.
It's my honor to be here with you today to offer this invocation. Please take a moment to assume a position of prayer as you are able. Hayom, today, O great creator of all the earth, as we do each year, this beloved community has gathered to lift up the life's work of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. May his memory be a blessing. And to reflect on what it means to build a world that would be worthy of your dwelling, a world worthy of our children, a world that was meant to be created in the first place. Dr. King set the cornerstone, and we recommit today to restore it and to honor his plans architected with love. As the psalmist says, Olam chesed yibaneh, the world is built with love. The book of Deuteronomy tells us to build a parapet on the roof to make sure none of your divinely created creatures fall off. We learn from this that it's imperative to build a place of protection and care, a world free of fear and danger, a world where structures are set up to ensure safety and well-being. Author of our lives, fulfill your promise written in the book of Exodus, that to those who build you a place of sanctuary, you will send your blessing. Because we, the laborers, work hard day and night to build a world founded upon respect, equity, opportunity, empowerment, community care, and self-actualization. A world of honor and holiness. God eternal, strengthen the work of our hands and the convictions of our hearts. Assure us of success and guarantee our reward. Let us rise up together as one to fulfill the highest of your ideals, to uproot injustice, and to create systems that honor the dignity and gifts of your creations. Dear God, help us to fulfill our work on this sacred day. Let our coming together here show you that we celebrate those who toil for justice and that we root our gatherings in time with liberation. Join us, and together let us build a beautiful and vibrant world from love, and may all of its supporters enjoy it. Baruch atah Adonai shomea tefillah. Blessed are you, Adonai, who hears our prayer. Amen.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Heather, for that beautiful prayer. And between the music and the prayer, we are setting the stage for a beautiful night of reflection and celebration. Now, throughout the movement for the liberation of African Americans in this country, coalition building and allies have been essential, from slavery to the civil rights movement to the movement of today. Allies and people that we sit at the table with to build change is key and essential. So right now, I want to introduce you to an ally of the SCLC of Southern California. His name is Bryan Herrera, and he's the president of the County Federation of Labor. He is still a supporter of the thoughts, theology, and philosophies of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. And so, Mr. Herrera, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Good evening. I would like to thank everyone who is viewing tonight's event from home. I'm Ron Herrera, President of the Los Angeles County Federation of Labor and Secretary-Treasurer of Teamsters, Local 396. It would have been great to greet you all in person, but it's more important to keep our community safe as we go through this most recent surge of infections caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, we honor the memory of those in our communities who have lost their lives during this pandemic and the work of brave brothers and sisters who have made their life work to carry out the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. I'm honored to have had the privilege to welcome you all to this great gala hosted tonight by the SCLC of Southern California. This great organization continues to carry out the legacy of its founder, Dr. Martin Luther King. It embodies the values of civil rights, racial justice, community empowerment, and of course, the labor movement. Dr. King has always been a source of inspiration for me. His words are always on my mind, especially when he said the labor movement was the principal force that transformed misery and despair into hope and progress. Thank you to Brother Pastor William Smart for your leadership. I am excited about the partnership between the Los Angeles County Federation of Labor and the SCLC. I am filled with hope as we embark on a path in this new year pursuing justice for our community. 2022 is a pivotal year. Not only is it an election year, but it also represents the latest step in the fight to truly achieve a multiracial democracy that empowers working people regardless of their color, creed, or background. While the road may be tough, I have faith that by working together, anything can be accomplished. Congratulations To all of tonight's honorees, Justine Lawson, Dominique DiPrima, Pastor Q. Jean Marie, Assembly Member Issac Bryan, Senator Stephen Bradford, my brother David Green, thank you to all of you. God bless you. Muchas gracias. Y que Dios te bendiga.
Thank you so much, President Herrera. We are so grateful and appreciative of the collaboration and the coalition building that we do in our community every day. Now, we are so grateful to have Pastor William D. Smart as the leader of the SCLC Southern California. Whenever there is a call or need for help, he's there. Whether it's the fight for 15 or fair wages, whether there's an issue in our community, he is just a phone call away. He's accessible, but most importantly, he is a man of faith. He is a praying man, and he is a man that represents family and everything that we need in representation of a Black man in our community. Not only that, but he follows the teachings and the theologies of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King as he leads the SCLC in today's fight for equity and equality and liberation of African Americans. So brothers and sisters, while you're viewing this, put your hands together for the president of the SCLC of Southern California, Dr. Reverend William D. Smart.
Greetings, sisters and brothers, and welcome to the SCLC Gala tonight. We're happy that you decided to come. I know it's different because of pandemic. We're here, virtual, and it's about to have a great event. SCLC has done a lot of things this year. We have created some events. We have created a new coalition out of many, one coalition. We have worked with various organizations to ensure that Black women got justice with Unite Here, number 11, to ensure that the hotel will respect its women there. And we've been working closely with them to make sure that the Marymount, Chateau Marymount, will respect Black women. We worked with the LA women in the fire department to ensure that women again are respected and get the justice that they need. This has been a challenging year for SCLC. We have had to deal with, first of all, voter suppression, the problems with the Voting Rights Act, and people who just don't get it anymore. Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream means nothing to these people. Martin Luther King always talked about the beloved community, a community that would be devoid of white supremacy, of war, and ugly capitalism. However, we see that the vestiges of these three evils still are running rampantly through our community. My brothers and sisters, we need you to continue to fight with SCLC to ensure that we reach our goals, that we overcome injustice, and we make sure that America has a good voting project and plan. Right now, the Senate is still struggling over voter rights. But we, right here in California, we're making a difference by in every hamlet around America, we send out cards, we send out messages, we ensure that everybody is following the dream of Dr. Martin Luther King, and that is to vote. We believe in fighting for women's rights and everybody's rights. And we know that SCLC, in the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King, is going to continue to fight. We merged together with a new coalition out of many one. We're working with some of our traditional allies to ensure that the cause of justice is still at the forefront and on everyone's mind. We need you to continue to be a part of our organization and to fight for righteousness, justice, and truth. So tonight, I thank you for coming. We are going to honor 6 amazing people. You will hear about them later. And we thank them all for allowing us to honor them. But we thank you for coming and being a part. We thank our sponsors for buying tables and being a sponsor to this event. We thank all of those who have come and witnessed what we're about to see. We want to thank you tonight for coming. I've got to thank my family, my wife, Pastor Tempakile Crystal Coleman Smart, my oldest son, Gregory, my daughter, Carmenia, and my son, Jehoshua Jairi, for allowing their father to participate in this work. I want to thank our board and all of its members for the hard work that you do and the support. I want to thank our staff for all of the things and the hard work that you're doing. And I want to thank you, the volunteers. Whatever we have asked of you, you have done. When we give out a clarion call in the middle of the night, you're there for us. So we want to thank you for that. You know, the battle is not won. There's more work that we have to do. There's more bridges we have to cross. And we need you to cross with us. All of the issues that are facing America, I still believe that Dr. Martin Luther King had an answer for all of it. And if you would work with us, you will see that his vision for America is still a reality today. Thank you.
It's truly an honor to start tonight's award with the first phenomenal honoree. Our first honoree is Kristine Lawson, who is receiving the Rosa Parks Humanitarian Award. Kristine Lawson is the first African-American woman to be promoted to battalion chief in the Los Angeles Fire Department. Chief Lawson is a 31-year veteran of the LAFD who has embraced her role in overseeing 8 fire stations in South Los Angeles communities. As a leader and a role model and a problem solver, Chief Lawson is highly respected in the city and among her peers. And she has worked tirelessly alongside the SCLC and the Equity in Fire Coalition to improve and eradicate the unsafe work environment that women and minorities experience within the department.
I think the thing that Dr. Martin Luther King's life that influences me the most is just his dedication and his continued fight for justice. He never gave up. He was optimistic his whole life that change was going to come. Even though he didn't live to see that change, he had that vision, that foresight that change was going to come. And he got people to believe that, both black and white, so that people could come together as a group and realize his vision. My fight for social justice in the world right now is focused on female firefighters. We don't make up a whole lot of percentage of the firefighters across the country, but there's a huge issue with bullying, hazing, and harassment of female firefighters. And after all that's gone on with all the other movements, women's movements, it's now time to focus on firefighting. I think the biggest thing that I'm willing to do is I'm willing to be vocal about it. I'm willing to put my neck out there, be the face of a movement that needs to happen, whether that's just getting up and speaking with politicians, whether that is going to court to testify on behalf of people that have been victimized, whatever it is to put a face and a voice to the issues of discrimination, hazing, and harassment within the fire service. For the younger generations that are not aware of Dr. King, I think it's important to study him a little bit, but also realize that he gave us a roadmap for us to follow, and study his teachings and realize that you can do actionable steps within your community. They don't have to be huge, but those little steps make a huge difference in the world. I think the biggest person that's influenced me as far as getting this award would be my grandfather. He was somebody that always fought for social justice issues. Somebody that always saw the best in people and worked hard to make change, build coalitions to help that change occur, and always had that positive outlook that anything is possible with people and time. To the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, being honored with this award is huge and humbling. You know, in life you don't set out to get awards, you set out to do good things and be a positive influence on the community. So to be recognized for something like this is just an incredible honor, and I'm grateful to them. Thank them very much.
Congratulations, Kristine Lawson, for receiving the Rosa Parks Humanitarian Award. Now, our next honoree is Dominique DiPrima, receiving our Drum Major for Justice Award. Now, Dominique DiPrima, who is an activist and a master communicator, both her parents are creative writers, poets, and activists. Dominique began her career in entertainment as a rapper, an MC, a writer, producer, and an on-air personality. Now, Dominique's voice is one of the reasons and respect that Los Angelenos have come to rely on during good times and troubling situations. Best known for her work on the Steve Harvey Morning Show, and don't forget about Street Science, and as the host of Front Page with Dominique DiPrima on KGLH. She continues to beat the drum for justice as the host of her all-new radio show, First Things First, with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Radio, the only Black-owned talk radio station in LA. I'm such a huge fan of Dominique DiPrima, and it is such an honor to celebrate her as I walk on her footsteps, as she's paved the way for so many people like myself to be unapologetically Black and to speak our truth.
The thing that influences me the most about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s life is his courage. I also think we forget how young he was at the time that he made the impact that he made on this country. But in standing up against the Vietnam War, taking an unpopular position, being willing to face those consequences, that courage and conviction inspires me, and it makes me stronger. Well, my fight for social justice in the world is born from my parents' activism, but my mother, Diane DiPrima, and my father, Amiri Baraka, are both noted activists. So I was raised on picket lines. I was raised on cultural events for justice, and I just try to carry on the torch to the best of my ability. In the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I am prepared to do all I can to carry on his legacy. And that legacy is a legacy of standing up for poor people, for women, for people of color, for Black people. It's a legacy of saying the truth, regardless of the consequences. And it's a legacy of looking forward to the long game for justice. I think our younger generations are exposed to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as a postcard or an I have a dream quote for Black History Month, and that they know who he is, but perhaps they've been forced to take in the co-opted version of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So to the younger generation, I would say do your own research, read the speeches, dig a little deeper, and you will begin to understand what a revolutionary Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. really was. Looking back on my life, I really should dedicate this award to the many people that I have been blessed to be mentored by, to be inspired by, and to be influenced by. Of course, it starts with my mother and father. Beyond that, Ida B. Wells is a huge hero of mine for her fierce advocacy on behalf of Black people while being a journalist. And then mentors like Maxine Waters, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, who's been a great mentor and friend to me. Stevie Wonder, who I had the opportunity to work for and with for many, many years. And now Tavis Smiley here at KBLA Talk 1580, who has had such an outsized impact on our culture. To the Southern Christian Leadership Conference of Southern California, I have to say thank you. Asante Sana, I'm so honored, I'm humbled, and I'm actually amazed that whatever small contribution I have given to the work that you do, to the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., would be worthy of this award. I thank you, and honestly, it gives me inspiration to do even more.
Congratulations, Dominique DiPrima, for receiving the Drum Major for Justice Award. And here's a fun fact about Dominique DiPrima. Dominique DiPrima appears on Tupac Shakur's iconic song, To Live and Die in LA. So she is an icon far beyond our reach. I salute you, Dominique. Now, before we continue with our honorees, let's take a minute, let's breathe, and have another beautiful music selection.
He said he would do it. He'll do it, he'll do it for me. He did it before, and he will do it again. Just like before. He said he would do it. He'll do it, he'll do it for me.
That was absolutely beautiful. Now let's continue the celebration of our honorees. Our next honoree is Pastor Stephen Q. Jean-Marie, who is receiving the Thomas Kilgore Jr. Prophetic Witness Award. Now, after answering what was described as a calling from God, former recording artist and rapper Stephen Q. Jean-Marie traded in his music career for an attempt to understand human struggles and suffering. First, by serving on international mission trips to West Africa and Thailand and other places, and then by making a commitment to people experiencing homelessness in Los Angeles on Skid Row. He founded the Church Without Walls in the heart of Skid Row and is dedicated to helping address issues of public policy and social justice that affect the most vulnerable citizens and residents in the city of Los Angeles.
What influences me the most about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s life is his ability to articulate ideas and to articulate them with simplicity so that everyday individual can understand it. My fight for social justice in the world, for me, I think it's about democratizing economics, right? We have to democratize economics because capitalism is running rampant. So what we're trying to do is to dismantle the systems that continue to perpetuate just negative outcomes for our people. Well, we're already in the spirit of Dr. King, and as it relates to the beloved community, we're already doing the work, right? I pastor the Church Without Walls in Skid Row, which is the houseless capital, or some of folks say homeless, but we say houseless because folks are not homeless. They have a home, they just don't have a house, right? A home is generally the people that you're around, the community that you're around, so people have a home. So creating that beloved community is actually being there for people. The Church Without Walls sometimes is the last place that a houseless person goes to before they even pass away. So being that beloved community that way, but also trying to mitigate some of the issues that would cause people to go to the grave early. What I would like to say about to the younger generation that seems to not be aware of the teaching and really about what Dr. King was all about, I would like to say that I've learned that Dr. King is more radical than we thought, right? We thought that he was soft, but he's more radical than we thought. Prior to his death, about 2/3 of black folks disapproved of him, 75% of white folks, because he opposed the Vietnam War. Yeah, looking back over my life, I think the person that has influenced me the most is Bob Marley and reggae singers who would teach me about social justice in their music. Later on, it was Malcolm X, and now I would say that all of our freedom fighters influence me, right? There are too many of them to just pick one, so I don't think one is greater. We've got folks like Fannie Lou Hamer, we've got Marcus Garvey, so there's just too much, and it's such a beautiful tapestry. Why would I just choose one? To the Southern Christian Leadership Conference of Southern California, I would like to say thank you for this award. I would like to say that the greatest honor to me is not receiving the Grammy, but it's receiving an award from my peers, and even greater than that is receiving an award from the community. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Pastor Stephen Q. Jean-Marie, on the Thomas Kilgore Jr. Prophetic Justice Award. Now we present the Millennial Justice Leadership Award to Assembly Member Issac Bryan. Elected in May of 2021 to represent California's 54th Assembly District, which covers a broad range of constituents and neighborhoods, a community organizer and highly regarded public policy expert, the Assembly member's academic and organizing work has been at the intersection of environments, economic, education, and housing justice. He successfully co-chaired Measure J, the campaign in LA County that allocates money to address racial injustice and strengthening community. He is one to watch because it does not yet appear what's to come with Issac Bryan.
Dr. King's life influences me in a variety of different ways, but the biggest thing is that he was willing to die for what he knew was right. He gave his life to advance justice and equity. As part of the younger generation, I could say that we need to learn more about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his teachings, and part of that is by investing in our systems of education. Here in California, we passed an ethnic studies bill just last year to make sure that our students are taught proper history. Critical race theory is a national conversation, and part of that is the legacy of our heroes, the true legacy. Dr. Martin Luther King fought for a universal basic income. Dr. Martin Luther King was organizing sanitation workers and workers across the country. Dr. Martin Luther King wasn't just talking about equality, he was talking about opportunity and justice. And we often forget that, and we whitewash over his history every January 15th, but for the next generation, we've got to make sure that they don't do that and that they know better. In the spirit of Dr. King and the beloved community that he spoke about, I'm willing to give everything that I have. I decided a number of years ago I was going to dedicate my life to fighting for things bigger than myself. And right now, as a state assembly member, there are a lot of tools at my disposal. I can bring resources to our community. I can change policy for our communities. And here in my first full session, I plan on doing just that. I've got several heroes. My mother was a foster mom for 26 years, and she adopted 9 of us out of the child welfare system. I wouldn't be here without her. I wouldn't be who I am without her. Dr. Kelly Lytle Hernandez at UCLA is one of the strongest, most brilliant, most compassionate black women I've ever met in my life. She uplifts everybody around her. Politically, Supervisor Holly Mitchell is second to none. She always has cared about things bigger than herself and has fought for more. And then historically, you know, I represent Crenshaw and Lawson. Nipsey Hussle's legacy matters to me. Dr. Martin Luther King matters to me. Malcolm X matters to me. Pac matters to me. And I think the culmination of all of these people who have spoken into my life or who have lived and blazed the trails before me, they put me in this moment right here to do my absolute best for our community. What I would say to SCLC in receiving this award is thank you. My birthday is January 16th. I just turned 30. And Dr. King's birthday is January 15th. And to be recognized by a local chapter of an organization that meant so much to him on this weekend for the work that I've done and the work yet to come, it continues me on this righteous journey. It centers me, it grounds me, it humbles me. Thank you, Pastor Smart, the entire team. We've been fighting in this struggle for many, many years, and that fight has won us a lot of victories, but we got a lot more work to do, and you have an ally in me always.
Congratulations, Assembly Member Isaac Bryan, on the Millennial Justice Leadership Award. I am so excited about your future. Now, these honorees tonight have been so motivational, all ages working together to see what we want to see when it comes to the Black community. Thank you to the SCLC Southern California for shining the light on these amazing honorees. And we need this right now so much, especially in the times that we're in. We need to see the faces and the voices that are making the change that we want to see. And we are so appreciative when we're asleep at night or we're watching our favorite TV shows. These individuals are behind the scenes making our lives better, from state capitals to community organizers to even on the radio airwaves. So we appreciate you, honorees, so much. With that said, I would like to invite the young people, the young activists, to come and get involved with our annual MLK Jr. Oratorical Contest that will take place in April. And you can contact Arnetta Mack for details or call 213-268-3082. Now, at this time, we will show you some images from community events from the SCLC at Southern California Dreamers for Justice. Take a look.
Hello everyone. I appreciate the honor of being asked to speak here tonight. I'm Ella Rosenson, one of the co-founders of the MLK Young Dreamers for Justice, and I'd like to spend a moment reflecting and appreciating the great work of our community of young changemakers. A lot, to say the least, the last couple of years have impacted how our organization is able to meet and to serve. But thankfully, the Young Dreamers have moved forwards, determined as ever to be a force for good. They've kept their heads high and continued to bridge and connect communities. Most notably, in 2021, we had the intention of collaborating with other social justice youth organizations. And I'm so proud to say that we were fortunate enough to meet and spend some time with the fantastic KBLA Center for Leadership. We had several meetings, one that was in person at a park. We played games, painted, shared aspects of our cultural identities that we most love. The experiences, stories, and rich cultures shared by all these incredible kids was a wonderful experience. We instantly meshed and shared respect for one another, fueled interesting and captivating conversation, lighthearted and deep. Another extraordinary event that couldn't be stopped by COVID was a poetry slam. Teens were invited to express themselves via the spoken word. I always love these events because it's a powerful window into what's on the minds and souls of our peers. This year has also pushed forward our social justice and service initiatives. The Young Dreamers promoted voter empowerment through a postcard writing campaign, wrote 1,500 postcards to disenfranchised communities. It's crazy. With instructions on how to vote. With the instability and not only of our own worlds, but the larger globe as a whole, the opportunity to help our country was a simple yet impactful action that I'm proud to have been a part of. Though we are not yet able to vote, the postcard campaign gave us a chance to speak up and realize that we can make a difference, especially when so much is on the line. Finally, we closed out 2021 with our Thanksgiving and holiday food and toy drives. Communities are struggling more than ever these days, and the Young Dreamers contributed more than 200 families being given turkey, groceries, and toys. It was extraordinary to see all those toys piled so high, ready for little kids' bright and excited smiles. When this group was first proposed by the fantastic Pastor Smart back in 2018, I never knew how much a group of kids could really accomplish. These years together have been a gift. This group has truly been a magical place for meaningful connection, and I'm so excited for everything that's ahead and all the people that I've yet to meet. I'm incredibly thankful to be part of such a welcoming and beautiful group. Thank you to the Smart family for welcoming me into the SCLC-SC family all those years ago. Thank you for listening. Thank you all.
Absolutely awesome. Our young people are indeed doing it. And this is what former President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama meant when they're putting their hope into the future. These dreamers are definitely making Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream brighter, fresher, and even more hopeful. All right. We hope you guys have been having a great time. By now, you should have your dinners, enjoying them as we continue to fellowship and celebrate. And right now, we have a real treat for you. She is a descendant of Mahalia Jackson. And yes, she is keeping the legacy alive. So are you ready to celebrate through music and song? Take a listen.
Create in me a clean heart. Restore me, O Lord, my broken heart. 'Cause I'm nothing without you. You bring me joy, you bring me love. Lord, you're the one that I'm thinking of. 'Cause I'm nothing without you. Restore me, oh Lord, my broken heart. 'Cause I'm nothing without you. I'm nothing without you. Nothing without you. I'm nothing without you. For the Bible says, come unto me, all ye that labor and that are heavy laden, and I will give you rest, said the Lord. My yoke is easy and my burdens are light, said the Lord. I will make it all right. Create in me a clean heart. Restore me, oh Lord, my broken heart. 'Cause I'm nothing without you. I'm nothing without you. Nothing without you. I'm nothing without you.
Next, we are honored to award State Senator Stephen Bradford with the Major Douglas DOLLARHIDE Community Servant Award. Now, State Senator of the 35th District of California, Senator Bradford has delivered economic empowerment, revitalization, and public safety to his constituents while authoring laws to increase oversight, especially in the way of public utility companies and how they operate. Now, the senator is unwavering. He's a citizen activist and considers himself a public servant, not a politician. That's rare. Through his work, he has secured more than $140 million and direct equitable investment for his district. And we can't forget about him being an instrumental part in returning Bruce's Beach in Manhattan Beach, California, back to the descendants of African Americans.
The part of Dr. Martin Luther King's life that influences me the most was his determination, his willingness to put his life on the line to improve the conditions of other Americans, regardless of race, color, creed, sex. He was a fearless warrior for change and just willing to go above and beyond far more than most individuals. Dr. King often stated, if you haven't found anything willing to fight for or to die for, then maybe your life is not worth living. So Dr. King was willing to fight and die for the issues that made the most to Americans here in this country. My fight for social justice started well over 4 decades ago after I graduated from college with a degree in political science, and I met the late Mervyn Dimely, who encouraged me to get involved. I grew up in the city of Gardena, where I was the first African American elected on that city council, but at the same time my family was the first Black family on our street. So it required me to engage and participate in a lot of things if I wanted to, be recognized and be a part of something. And after getting elected to Gardena City Council, we fought for inclusion and making sure resources came to the north part of Gardena, which was predominantly African American, and many times services were lacking there compared to the south side. And since I've been in the legislature, I've been able to chair committees such as the Select Committee on Boys and Men of Color that helped shape President Barack Obama's, my brother's keepers, and was invited to the White House. So I believe in giving back, and this is what my life has been about, whether it's been about criminal justice reform and passing SB 2 this year, the Kenneth Ross Jr. Police Decertification Bill, or returning the property to the African American family who lost it in Manhattan Beach over 97 years ago, Bruce's Beach. So this is a journey that I'm happy to be a part of, and continue to do so as a member of the California Senate, and just excited about being able to do the work. In the spirit of Martin Luther King Jr., I'm prepared to be involved in my community on all levels, fighting for equal access, for parity, for equity, be it in education, be it in housing and employment, revamping our criminal justice system, all those things that Dr. King was so passionate about. Voter participation, voter education, it's key. His dream is not complete. It's still living, and it should be living in each and every one of us. So I'm willing to carry on in the best of my ability to make sure that we continue to champion and fight for those things that Dr. King gave his life for, because the work isn't completed. So we got to make sure that we have quality health care for all Californians, for all Americans, and making sure that folks have a roof over their head and food on the table. So if I can help move that needle as an elected official, I will continue to do so. So, or even once I leave elected office, I still plan to be committed and passionate about those things that Dr. King lived for and strived for, because he did those, fought for those issues without having being ever elected. So I tell folks all the time, you don't have to be elected to be involved and be engaged and make a difference. So I hope I can continue to do so. What I say to the young people is to understand and know Dr. King's legacy, no more than just the speech, "I have a dream." Know what Dr. King stood for. Understand he started at a very early age, as a teenager, as a young adult, was his activism. And it was through the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, that really empowered the movement. It was the young people, Dr. King would tell you, that lifted him up and allowed him to do his work. So you are the change makers. You are the leaders in your community. It's just up to you to pick up that mantle and believe and go forth, because that's what he would want you to do. That's what he did. And understand his writings. Read his book, Why We Can't Wait, because the challenge that was facing America 50, 60 years ago we're still facing them today in 2022. So understand, again, that Dr. King would be encouraging young folks to roll up their sleeves and give back to your community. As he stated, we all can be great because we all can serve. Have a heart and a spirit of service to others, and great things will come to you. First, I would like to express my extreme gratitude and appreciation to the Southern Christian Leadership Conference for bestowing this award upon me, an award that's named after Douglas Dollarhide, who was the first African-American mayor of the city of Compton, a city that's part of my district. Mr. Dollarhide was a trailblazer just like Martin Luther King, and was a fierce fighter for inclusion in Compton and bringing forth businesses and self-determination. I stand on the shoulders of leaders like Mr. Dollarhide, and I stand on the shoulders and the path that the Southern Christian Leadership Conference has led throughout this country for the last 60 plus years. So I'm honored to receive such a distinguished award, and I just look forward to continue the work and continue to work along the Southern Christian Leadership Conference and the work that they do every day to bring forth social equity and equality here in America. Hey, first and foremost, the folks who've had the greatest impact on my life, I have to start with my parents. My parents made it abundantly clear that we knew who Dr. King was, what he stood for, and they instilled those values in me to get engaged and give back to my community at an early age. I even remember my father attending Martin Luther King's funeral in 1968. So he's had a tremendous impact in our family, and I thank my parents for making us aware of who he was, what he stood for, and what he died for. Most recently, it was my mentor, my political mentor and godfather, the late Mervyn Dimely, who was the first Black state senator. He was a former Assemblyman as well, a former U.S. Congressperson, and the only African-American lieutenant governor that this state has had so far in the last 171 years. So he saw something in me at an early age and encouraged me, not necessarily to run for office, but again, to get involved in my community and give back and be a part of the political process to bring about change in the community. So I thank him, and I thank my parents for instilling that role of service into me.
Congratulations to State Senator Stephen Bradford on receiving the Major Douglas Dollarhide Community Service Award. And I'm so honored to have had the opportunity to work with Senator Bradford at the time when he was a council member in Gardena, and we were able to have one of the biggest Juneteenth celebrations in the city of Gardena, where we were able to teach our community about the history of Juneteenth. It was such an honor. Congratulations again, Senator Bradford. Okay, our final honoree of the evening is for President David Green, SEIU Local 721, receiving the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Social Justice Award. Now, David Green is one of Los Angeles' most passionate, committed, and effective labor leaders throughout his more than 20 years with the Los Angeles County Department of Children and Family Services. Green has worked tirelessly to improve the lives of working families in California and beyond. As both a social worker and a longtime member of SEIU Local 721 Executive Board, Green brings a unique and complete perspective to the challenges facing California's working families, a perspective informed by his direct experience working with thousands of families, as well as advocacy in the LA County Hall of Administration, the Capitol in Sacramento, and nationally in Washington, D.C.
My fellow county workers and union members are here today to represent the tens of thousands of essential workers who risked everything to keep this county safe, supported, and functional during the COVID-19 pandemic. And we don't just represent our coworkers who are out there right this minute doing the hard work of keeping our community running. We also represent the ones who aren't doing that, who can't do that, because their lives were permanently, irrevocably upended by this terrible virus.
All frontline essential workers, we had Los Angeles County's back during this pandemic, and now it's time for them to step up and show their appreciation, and they need to have our backs.
While our healthcare workers witnessed the ravages of the disease firsthand, it was SEIU 721 county workers who dealt with the physical, emotional, and economic fallout, making it possible for the community to shelter in place. County workers kept our streets passable for ambulance and delivery drivers. Sanitation services continued without interruption. And it was county workers who maintained our beaches, parks, and green spaces. My fellow social workers fulfilled our mission by protecting those most at risk by using creative solutions to continue visiting homes and facilities to keep our most vulnerable children and families safe.
I didn't have the privilege of working from home. I had to show up every single day, and I'm still showing up every single day.
While the world stayed at home, someone had to do the work. We were that someone.
And this pandemic isn't over with yet. Still, the nurses of Los Angeles County, we keep coming back, day after day, night after night. Because we care about the people of Los Angeles County, we care about our communities, and we care about the people that we serve.
We are important. We've had their backs all along. We still have their backs to this day. But my coworkers and I, we feel betrayed. We feel swindled. We feel we've been conned.
It's insulting and embarrassing that essential frontline workers who are employed directly by Los Angeles County are totally being ignored.
This board of supervisors need to be held accountable. Martin Luther King would say, an injustice to one is an injustice to all. And this is an injustice that's being played.
Just one word about how we feel that they have devalued us as essential workers. Some of those words include pain, undervalued, disappointed,
sad, disappointed, unappreciated.
And I want to say devalued also, because again, a lot of us put our health at risk when we do interact with customers, with clients, and then trying to be there for them and trying to support our own family. A lot of us have caught COVID. We've had workers catch COVID, trying to come to work and do their best. And die. Some of our workers have passed away.
A lot of people, a lot of citizens don't know what we go through. We're kind of like the unseen, in the background heroes that we don't exist. And we are doing the job that nobody else knows how to do but us. I've been doing it for 18 years. I'm a proud county employee. I'm a proud probation employee. I'm proud of my department. I'm also proud to be a county worker, but right now I'm not so proud of my county managers and county supervisors.
They really need to show us that we matter, because we care. We care about our communities, we care about our patients, we care, and we're still here.
It's important that the Board of Supervisors approve Heroes Pay for All. Nurses, social workers, clerks, all of us, we're there fighting. We're all essential workers.
We are heroes, and we deserve Heroes Pay for All. We shouldn't have to ask, we shouldn't have to beg, and I should not be standing here right now letting you know how Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors treat their nurses and their employees.
For over a year, they've called us heroes. Now they want us to shut up and go back to work. Is this how you treat so-called heroes? We deserve more than empty platitudes and a pat on the head. We've given too much, and our families have given too much.
They want us to get out there and be a hero, pay us like a hero.
Heroes pay for all. Heroes pay for all. Heroes pay for all. Heroes pay for all.
What's influenced me most in my life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is his pursuit of social justice and equality. What I'm prepared to do is continue the fight every day to fight poverty, especially child poverty. I would say to the younger generation that are maybe not as familiar with the life, death, and teaching of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is that it's our obligation as parents, teachers, professors, educators to educate this next generation on the importance of Dr. King's teaching, his philosophies, his nonviolence, and his pursuit of social justice. Looking back over my life, the largest influence in receiving this award would have to be my parents. They always believed in me since I was very young. They told me I could do anything and that there was no goal that was not able to be reached. So what I would say to the Southern Christian Leadership Conference is thank you so much. This is a great honor. I'm very humbled and honored, and it means a lot to me. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, David Green, on receiving the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Award. Tonight has been amazing. It's been inspiring to see so many people making change in our community. It is so appreciated. On behalf of the community, I say thank you. Congratulations to all of our honorees. And now let's talk about what Dr. King was really about. In 1965, Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Voting Rights Act, which gave Black people the right to vote. Right now, our democracy is in jeopardy. And we have senators, moderates that are Democrats, as well as the Republican body at large that are trying to take away and disenfranchise our vote. So as we celebrate, we have to understand the urgency and call to action that we have to do for Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, for so many civil rights leaders, for Dorothy Heights, for Fannie Lou Hamer, and so many others that have came before us that gave us the liberties and the right to vote. So we ask that you start calling your senators today. Call Senator Joe Manchin, call Senator Sinema. You could call them at 202-224-3954. That's 202-224-3954. The civil rights movement laid out the blueprint of how to demand justice, fairness, equality, and equity for African Americans. We don't have to figure out how to do it. We just have to follow the blueprint and honor their legacy of giving us the freedoms that we have today. So let them know that we want voting rights now. Pay attention to what's happening in the upcoming midterms, volunteer. And, we had no church today, right? Now, I'm no pastor, but I'm going to give the financial appeal right now. So the SCLC Southern California, they do so much work, but it is a nonprofit and they need your support and help. So please be a member of the SCLC. Give to the SCLC. You can cash app them. They make it easy. It's the $SCLC-SC, or do Giveify, which is SCLC-SC. Let's give. Let's be members. Let's coalition build. Let's become allies. Let's continue the vision of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. And we thank Reverend William D. Smart for his leadership, for his prayers, and for his activism. It has been an honor. My name is Niel. You can catch me Monday through Friday on KCOP Los Angeles and watch Fox Soul's Black Report as we bring you Black America's headline news, views, and opinions every day. It is truly an honor to continue the legacy of the path that has been laid before all of us. God bless you. Peace and blessings.